record on this computer. I still haven't figured out how to get rid of that voice, but you know.
Hey, so much for my white privilege. Frickin' I am the same color as my walls in the hotel room. Thus, why I am spooky fish.
That's right. Well, at least you're not like the Skittles for the month of June.
What's wrong with Skittles in the month of June? Are they tie-dye?
No, because June is Gay Pride Month. They've decided to eliminate the colors of Skittles. So now all of the Skittles are an ugly pasty gray color.
So instead of being the rainbow, because they could lean into it. You guys are the taste of the rainbow. You don't have to change your package. Just go with it. They decided to go against the trend.
Because the only rainbow that matters is the rainbow of the Gay Pride flag. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that God has something to say about that, but okay.
Yeah, they co-opted the Catholic, not even the Catholic.
It's the Christian. It's anybody who has basic knowledge of Christianity knows that the rainbow is the promise that God made to his creation, letting them know that he would never flood the earth again after the great flood with Noah.
And I would have to step that back because that's Old Testament, which means it's in the Torah. That means it's a promise not only to the Christians, but the Jews and the Muslims.
Well,
I'm not sure how much the Muslim faith puts in Genesis.
Well, it's the Muslims. They, no disrespect to them. I'm sure there's some good people out there who are of the Muslim faith. Cal's one of them. Yes. I don't know enough about the Quran to know anything about whether it talks about rainbows and flooding. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, at least you are as pasty as a Skittle in the month of June.
That's a shirt.
That's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right. Are you ready?
Shoot.
I am excited to be back. I'm excited.
I'm hoping there's beach stories.
Well.
Oh, come on. You went to the beach.
I guess I could share a couple of stories, but we gotta kick off the show. So are you ready?
Hit record.
All right. 3.
Oh, we're already recording.
We're recording already. I'll just start playing the music in 3, 2, 1. Hey, Fish, are you okay? You're looking a little pale there.
I'm exhausted.
You didn't get much sleep, huh?
No, I slept like a baby, but I had this dream that I had insomnia all night.
7 months of working with you and doing this show with you, and I still haven't learned to just not with you sometimes.
Ask me how I feel. Ask me how I feel.
How do you feel?
With my hands, mostly. With my hands.
It's like you walk right into it.
I've been waiting all week.
You were saving that one.
Yes.
I have something to tell you. So when you get it.
What you got?
Well, I'll show you. Don't worry. I'm a soul man. So, everybody, welcome back to Room 13. We are broadcasting from the Desert Air Hotel, Casino, Convention Center, RV Park, Chapel, home to the Dirty Turtle. We also have a firing range. Once Jason Gouffre picks up all of the empty shell casings because that's starting to look a little shabby back there. And our pool is being renewed. So we apologize beforehand to all of our guests who are trying to skinny dip in the middle of the night. The pool is under renovations. We're trying to get some jazzy new tile for the bottom of the pool. But anyway, welcome back to Room 13. If you have missed any of our previous episodes, you may catch those on.
Shame.
Yes. First of all, how dare you? And second, if you want to get back on our good graces, you can always catch our show on all podcast platforms, which I'm sure you already know about. You can find us on Facebook, Room 13 Radio Show. You can find us on YouTube, Room 13 Show. On TikTok, Room 13 Show. Pretty easy. And you can also find us on Twitter at Room 13 Show, Rocky with an I, and The River Fish. So Fish, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard something about you working on your self-confidence this week.
Oh yeah, Dylan from Defenders Live. He sent me a bumper sticker that said honk if you think I'm hot.
The bromance continues. Did it work?
It did, especially after the light turned green for the third time and I sat there basking in all the honking. It was wonderful. I felt hot.
I'm sure. So does Dylan often tell you that you're hot? Like, is this part of this relationship that keeps blossoming before my eyes?
He just tells me I'm a good looking man and we're going fishing next week. It's gonna be fun.
You don't see the irony in it, right? That you're going fishing.
Oh.
And you're the river fish.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Changing the definition of jailbait. What?
Jailbait? I don't.
Never mind.
I'm older than him.
Well, this is true, but you know what? I'll just leave it at that. You two boys go on your fishing date.
It's not a date. It's when you say it like that, it sounds no.
It sounds to me like you two are going on an outing. You're gonna be.
It's an outing.
It's an outing, but it's just gonna be the two of you and a body of water on a boat.
On a boat. We're gonna. He said we can do that whole thing from Titanic where I stand at the bow and we do the I'm king of the world. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll have pictures.
There were other things that happened in the Titanic too, right?
Oh, spoiler alert, it sunk.
Well, it sank back in what, 1912?
Somewhere about there, yeah.
12, 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Spoilers, people, if you didn't see the movie yet, here it comes.
I don't think it has to do with the movie so much. It's just history because it's an actual event, but sure.
Well, Jurassic Park. Well, we won't go into that one.
No, that's a documentary. It still is a documentary about the hazards of tinkering with science and nature. Just don't touch it. Just don't. Overall. So I am glad to be back. Back from vacation. I don't have the full delicious tan that I wish I would have gotten because we got there. Okay, so we went on our mini vacation last weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and when we got there on Friday, the hotel was okay, decent for what it was, but the room that we got was in the back of the hotel, like the back part of the hotel, and the window and the entrance was facing east, or was facing west. So of course, as the sun is going down, that hot sun is coming in through the window, and that room felt like a hot box when I walked in. And if there's one thing that I can't stand is paying a certain amount of money to stay at a relatively nice hotel and find that the room that I'm staying in is warm, that the AC is not functioning properly.
Ooh, that's not good.
That is, and as someone who travels for his work, there's nothing worse than being in a room where it is too hot for you to rest.
Yeah, I'm a chunky guy. We don't do well in the heat. We
We
melt.
don't do well in the heat. Exactly. So I tell Mr. Rocky, you're the AC expert because my husband used to have an HVAC license. I tell him, could you check the AC for me? I don't think that it's blowing cold air. I just feel like the fan is going and I hear that everything is working, but I don't think that actual cold air is coming out of this device.
Wait, back up, wake up. So the AC isn't blowing.
The AC is, and it was blowing, just not cold air.
Okay, so it was blowing.
It was blowing, just not
Okay,
cold
okay.
air. Yeah.
So, but it wasn't blowing the right way.
It wasn't blowing the right way. That's right. It was doing it all wrong.
Frustrating, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. I
Now
don't know
how a
about those
married man
things.
feels.
I don't know about those things. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, carrying on, I tell my husband, it's like, could you do me a favor and just call housekeeping and tell him to come and fix it? Okay, no problem. We went out for a little walk because we were staying at the same hotel as other members of our family with the sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and the nephew, and they were staying also in the back part of the hotel, but on the side while we were in the back of the hotel. We all came with our respective pets. That's the designated pet area. All well and good. We went out for dinner. When we come back, the room is still hot. And not only was the room hot, but there were ants, sugar ants in the sink. So I don't want to turn full on Karen, but
here it comes.
As I said,
Brace yourselves.
It's Memorial Day weekend. The hotels charge at least $20 to $50 more a night for a room when you're going to be staying in a popular area during a holiday weekend. So here we are paying a larger than usual amount of money to stay at a hotel, and the AC isn't working properly, and I have ants in my room. So I went about 70% Karen. I call the front desk. Hey, could you send someone from maintenance? The air conditioner isn't working, and there's ants in the sink. Oh, we're so sorry. We'll send someone shortly. The person was there. The gentleman was there in less than 5 minutes. I have to give them that. He walks in.
So already better than pair eyewear.
Yes, much better than pair eyewear. So a gentleman walks in. He's like, oh, let me do a factory reset on the AC. And when he opens the AC unit, he's like, oh, the thermostat is on the floor. That's why the room isn't cooling. I'm thinking to myself, what kind of that
Crummy?
are you running here? At the thermostat of the air conditioner is on the floor. So he put the thermostat back where it belonged, I suppose. He did a full reset on the air conditioner, and then it started working perfectly.
By reset, do you mean unplugged it and plugged it back in?
No. I guess it was some sort of internal button combination, up, down, left, right,
Very good.
start combination that led to it rebooting and working perfectly fine once it powered back on. He didn't unplug it.
He didn't blow into it?
No, he didn't blow into it. No. And it worked fine. And then about the ants, he's like, we're so sorry about the ants. They're just sugar ants. So we treat these rooms, once a month, but they are sugar ants, and they'll still manage to come back, and just let me just put this treatment here. And it was like a basic, I don't know, raid treatment, like a spot treatment. And then after that, the ants were gone. So that's all within the first 4 hours of us being in the room. So, but the rest of the vacation was nice. We our families, we each have canopies. Ours is a 12 by 12. It's rather sizable, rather large. And our brother-in-law and sister-in-law have like I really want to get the one that they have, despite the fact that it is a little bit smaller, but the setup is easier. because
So like a little
ours is
little button you push, and all of a sudden it just springs.
it pretty much is like a single person setup. So that I never saw it folded down, but I said that it basically folds down to about the size of a regular like beach chair, like like the ones that come in the sleeve.
Yes, I have one of those.
So this one, I'm like, oh, cool. I checked the price tag, and I'm like, it's $200 for this cabana thing, and I'm like, oh, do I want to spend $200 for this one? Because that was the largest one, and it was smaller than the one that we have, and you know, because of Melissa, we kind of like the big space, so I'm gonna be on the fence about getting it, but our priorities have shifted somewhat. We may need to get a new couch because my daughter keeps ruining our furniture, and the middle seat on our couch has broken, and it's sacked down to almost touching the floor, and now we have to get a new couch. So
Did she use it as a trampoline?
she has a habit of jumping on furniture, especially like soft furniture. So she'll jump on the bed, she'll jump on her bed, on our bed, on the couch, despite the fact that she has an exercise ball that we bought for that. So that when she feels the need to bounce on furniture or any kind of soft surface, we hope that she does it on her exercise ball. She does, but she also will do it, on a trampoline. She'll do it on her bed. She'll do it on ours. And every time that she does, especially now that she's getting bigger, and at this point she's over 100 pounds, it's like, yeah, it's like 100-pound child at the force that she jumps because she doesn't understand her own strength. She breaks things pretty easily. So I'm on the market for a new couch. Luckily, I live close enough to plenty of furniture outlets, including a Rooms to Go furniture outlet and Ashley Home Store furniture outlet, where
What's
I
that?
can
What's that Swedish one that everyone goes to?
IKEA. Yeah, there's an IKEA not far from here, but I don't know if they have the style that I'm looking for. I'm looking for one with a chaise.
A chaise. What is a
chaise at the end, the longer.
I hate those things.
Now, my plan is that because this is an elongated portion of the couch, that maybe it kind of keeps her to one spot, and maybe prevents her from jumping on the furniture. And of course, telling her to not jump on the furniture will be probably more helpful, but that's a conversation for another day. But they sell these where you can move the chaise from one side of the couch to the other, because it's just basically an ottoman and a long cushion. So I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, where you can have the chaise side on one side of the couch or the other, instead of you buying it like that. I don't know if IKEA has something like that, because with IKEA, yeah, you can go online and look at what they sell, but it's always so much more fun actually going to IKEA. Even if you buy absolutely nothing, it's fun to go through IKEA. It's a freaking maze. It's a 2-story maze, because I don't think I've ever been to an IKEA that's not 2 levels.
Yeah, they got a pretty good selection of different kinds of things you can build. Yay!
Yeah.
And yeah.
But I have the patience to put things together. My husband does not. So I'd rather just,
see,
I can avoid putting it together. I will, because otherwise it would be an enterprise that I would have to take upon myself.
See, I don't have the patience to put things together. That's why I have an oldest daughter who loves doing that stuff. So I just give her a box and a thing of instructions, and she goes to town. She thinks that's like enjoyable time. That's an afternoon for her.
I am like that. Just leave me with what I need. It's like, unless it's something that is extremely heavy or something that needs to be held in a certain way in order for parts to connect, where I would necessarily need the help of someone else. And even that may be a little suspect. I'll figure it out. That's something that I like to do myself.
Oh, I'll bring her a box.
Been like that.
She's, oh, Daddy, what'd you get me? What'd you get me? What'd you get me? It's an entertainment center. Here you go, honey. And she's like, yay! Like, what's it supposed to look like? I'm like, I don't care. Just make sure it looks something like something.
Like what's in the box.
Yeah, she's just
Look at the box. Does it look like that? Yes, then that's all that matters.
And I swear the girl doesn't go by instructions. She just looks at the box, looks at the instructions for like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden she's off. And I'm like, I'm just gonna tiptoe out of the room and just let her go.
I am like that with pretty much anything, but I am of the school of thought where I will read the directions and I'll try and have them near me because most of these things are super easy to put together, whether it's from IKEA or from pretty much anywhere else. They're easy to put together. You just have to make sure, particularly when you're working with certain bits and screws and washers and things like that. It's like you have to make sure that you're using the right one for the part that you're trying to put together. But once you look at the diagram at least a couple times and you kind of make sure that you're putting the parts where they should go, it's super easy to do. But some people just don't have the patience for it.
No, I usually got to be drunk to do it, and that's kind of at least the
Defeats
reason why.
the purpose.
That's why she does it now, because it's like, Daddy doesn't want to drink anymore. Can you just do this for me? Because I don't want to drink anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, but excuse me. So other than that, we had a
Just went
really
through
nice
puberty all over
time.
again.
Just a little bit, yeah. But we had a really nice time. We our last night, because it was the night before Memorial Day, pretty much every restaurant was booked, or the
Ouch.
wait was going to be over an hour.
No,
And
thank you.
we were like, where do we go that the wait is like, we were at the point where it was like, let's just to go to friggin' McDonald's and get something to eat there. We'll all go back to our rooms. We have to pack the car because we were all leaving on Monday morning anyway. So it's like, let's just go to McDonald's and whatever. But actually, right next to the McDonald's that we were thinking of going was an IHOP, and it's like, breakfast for dinner. Okay.
There you go.
I went to IHOP and we had a nice IHOP dinner.
No saltwater crocodiles?
No saltwater crocodiles. I missed the event of the hatching turtles because that was too early. And waking up early on vacation kind of defeats the purpose of going on vacation.
See, I did not know there was such thing as salt. Well, I knew of saltwater crocodiles, but in my mind, it never like put two and two together. Like they'd be in the ocean. And I just saw a video from Florida of this huge freaking crocodile basking at a beach. And I'm like, this is another reason why I don't want to move to Florida. It's another animal that's going to try and kill me. I didn't know crocodiles and Jaws in the same area. I don't think I could deal with it.
Just stay away from the areas where they're going to be sharks. But it is Florida, though.
That's everywhere.
No,
Jellyfish.
That's not everywhere. I haven't had an encounter with a jellyfish the times that I've been at the beach. I've had encounters with seaweed. Our seaweed here is like, it'll wrap. Trust me, because on Saturday was our first beach day, one of 2 beach days. Saturday, the seaweed was every freaking where. By the time that we got back to the room, we took our swimsuits off.
Ew.
We had seaweed in bits and places and nooks and crannies. And it's like I felt bad for the hotel property because I'm like, they're literally a block away from the beach. We could walk from where we were set up at the beach back to our room. It would be a 5-minute walk.
Well, at least that's convenient.
It's just down the road. And then there's A1A, which is called Atlantic Avenue on that side, but it's A1A. You cross the street, the hotel's right there.
Oh.
Just literally just wait for the light to change and you're right at the hotel property.
So do you feel refreshed and relaxed?
I feel like I needed more days at the beach. I feel like maybe next time we'll stay a little bit longer. Our daughter loves to be in the water, and that first day was tough because we were trying to tell her that we were taking her to the beach. Come on, put on your swimsuit. We're going to the beach. And I was playing the episode of Bubble Guppies that they're talking about the beach so she could understand. She didn't understand what I was trying to tell her. So I had to physically take her to the beach so that she could understand this is where I'm trying to take you. And then it started another mess because she was getting upset because she wanted to go in the water, despite the fact that she wasn't wearing a swimsuit. So, of course, it took her back into the room, dragging, kicking, and screaming because she wanted to be in the water. And I said, come on, we have to put on your swimsuit. Finally put on her swimsuit, and then she was in the water. And then it was a hard time trying to get her out.
The joys of being a parent.
The joys of being a parent. But you know what, though? Despite everything, it was so worth it hearing her giggle and play and telling us, come on to the water, come on to the water every time we bring her back to the shore so she could have something to drink, something to eat. And then once she was dry, once an inch of her body was dry, come on, let's go to the water. Come on to the water. And it's like, okay. Only because you're so cute. So it was a nice time. And I think that next time we go, we'll probably go not in the middle of summer because then the water is too hot, but we might not go during a weekend where it's a holiday weekend because it's packhead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you go on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something like that where everyone's not there.
It's a beach town. It is a literal beach town. So there's always going to be people, but it's a matter of just picking a weekend in which it isn't a holiday where the volume of people isn't as large as it is now. Because now, everybody knows Memorial Day is the kickoff of summer. So we're thinking that if we go sometime in September, like after Labor Day or something like that, it probably would work better. Plus we also have the Gulf beaches, which are very nice. And for Melissa and for us as parents of a special needs child, it's actually easier to take her to a Gulf beach because the water is still, not still completely still, but it's much tamer than water on the Atlantic side of Florida.
Oh.
So, yeah, so that's our next plans. So we have about less than a minute left. This whole segment, I've just been blah, blah, blah. Yes.
Guess what I did this week?
What did you do?
I got the chance to voice a character for a production company that does fictional podcasts. So 7 Lamb Productions asked me to voice a character for one of their podcasts, one of their fictional shows. They do these awesome fictional, if you want to get binge a podcast and go down this cool rabbit hole with this big adventure. They're very sci-fi. They're very horror. They do a couple comedy ones. And I'll tell you more after the break.
Yes, because I think I just had an idea. I have an idea. Group 13 will be back in 2 minutes.
Again, we have too much this week.
How is it that when we do our show prep, I always feel like we're not going to have enough? And,
I know.
But that's what makes our show so great. And that's why people say that we have great chemistry. It's just because, this is it. This is the magic of us.
I was looking at the prep sheet. I'm like, I don't think we have enough. We don't have enough. I got to find more. I'll start typing more. I'll add more. Here's another story. Here's another joke. Here's this. And then we start going. It's like, we're not going to get to that. Oh, we're not going to get that out either. Son of a bitch.
Haven't even started to scratch the surface of what we're going to do.
And I have a good fish story this week too.
Yes, we'll still do the fish story when you come back. But that production company, I wonder if Russ would be interested in carrying their programming.
I don't know if I'm Russ is listening, and I know Robert, who is the writer and producer. So I might have to float. I guess it's send Russ maybe a couple links to a couple of their different shows, see if he's interested, and then we can introduce Russ and Robert. And because their shows are freaking awesome, bingeable, really good, to the point where I've sat in my car in the driveway waiting for the episode to end before I get out of the car.
That is the kind of podcast that I would like to listen to when I don't feel like listening to news or, you know, something different. Sometimes you just want to listen to something different than what's on radio. And I would be interested in something like that.
Because I binge a couple of their shows. So I'm hoping I did good enough that I get invited to do more characters.
Welcome back to room 13. Fresh from the beach, and we smell like aloe vera with lidocaine.
Well, thank you for not saying you smell like fish, because
No,
I'd be offended.
no, we're not that. We're not close like that. We're just not close like that. Not close like that. Before we forget, do remember that the Real Shenanigans Con is still happening the weekend of August 20th in Nashville. People from our co-hosts and friends from Off Track Syndicate, which you can hear tomorrow, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For room 13, our good friend Fish is going to be there, and a couple of people from other Mojo 50 shows are going to be there as well. There's going to be dinner at Mission Barbecue. And then after that, everybody is going to relocate themselves to the Redneck Riviera bar for some even more shenanigans. Only there are alcoholic shenanigans.
Yeah,
no,
there could be some adult beverages. I won't be drinking, but it's offered there.
Yes, because you are going to be with your family. It is, yes, there is going to be some drinking involved, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is necessary or mandatory for you to do so. So we do want people from all walks of life to join us in Nashville the weekend of August 20th. There is a Facebook page with more details. If I recall correctly, there is there may be a rate, a special rate going on at a hotel in the area, like a group rate. But more details can be found on the Facebook page for The Real Shenanigans Con 2021. And please let us know whether you're coming, because we need a head count for both the restaurant and the bar, because we want to make sure that they have plenty of space, especially since some places may still be observing some regulations, rules.
Yeah, I'm hoping by then most of the rules have kind of relaxed and we're back.
I have a sinking feeling that we're barreling towards people not caring anymore.
Yeah.
But some places might still care. So we can't speak for them, but do let us know whether you are coming for sure, so that we can maintain a proper head count. So tell me more about your voiceover work.
So Seven Lamb Productions is a production company by Robert Lamb, a tremendously talented writer. They have multiple podcasts. They're fictional shows. One is called Movie Night, which is a more of a sitcom-y kind of comedy. They have one called End of All Hope, which is a what's that called? End of the world kind of zombie apocalypse kind of alien show that's really, really good. They're into season 4 or 5 of that one. The other one is called Paralyzed, which is a sci-fi kind of horror one, which is the one that I'll be appearing on. They're into season 4 of that one. Tremendous show. And I will be Deputy Stock. He asked me to voice a small character. I only beg that they won't kill me off quickly. Although if they do kill me during the show, I hope they give me a tremendous death. I want something cool. So I did my small little part for them this week, sent it in, and just waiting for the shows to start getting released. I think the new seasons are getting released later this month. So if you go on to Apple Podcasts and you search 7 Lamb, the number 7 and the word lamb, There's a bunch of different shows. They have a tremendous amount of shows. They're really, really cool. One is called Story.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of based on reality.
Mm-hmm.
The author Robert Lamb actually walked across the nation from Washington to somewhere in Florida. I can't remember where.
Mm-hmm.
But then he did a fictional account of it, and it's a tremendous story. It's really compelling. I've sat in my driveway after I've gotten home from work just to finish the episode because I'm like, I want to find out how it ends. I'm just going to sit here an extra 10 minutes. I don't care if the neighbors are wondering what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going to sit here. And
if they are on
Devilman
Spreaker.
Productions.
They are on Spreaker, and I just favorited End of All Hope, Paralyzed, and Tower 4 because I am reading the description and
Tower
I am
4
like,
is amazing.
Yes, I'm like, yes. So hopefully I get to be working out on the floor this weekend at the part-time job because I can pop in an earbud and listen to this while I work.
Tower 4 is. Hey Russ, if you're listening, I know you are. Russ Haslage from Odyssey1.com.
Odyssey One.
If you're listening, you really should listen to any of their shows. I highly recommend Tower 4, End of All Hope, or Paralyzed. They're sci-fi. They're really cool. They're well done. They're well written. I think they'd fit really well into the Odyssey One lineup. You might really want to check it out. I highly recommend it. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm in one of the episodes, and
absolutely nothing to do with the fact. It's just one of those things that I am a fan of the old time radio dynamic of a radio show where you kind of let your imagination do the work. And yes, you can have some special effects. Yes, you can have some, you can change your voice a little bit so that it sounds different, but it still lets your imagination do the work for you and paint that picture of what is being narrated. I'm a big fan of that. And I wish that more of that was being done nowadays instead of just straight up talk. Like, granted, it is what we do, but at the same time, whenever Fish tells one of his stories, don't lie, you're thinking of exactly what is happening. And that's what good radio should be. Good radio should be the opportunity for your mind to run wild. And I think that it would be a perfect fit for a radio network like Odyssey, something that is sci-fi, that is horror, that is, yes, I have to make that distinction. Something that is just a throwback to the classic radio drama shows of the 40s and 50s.
You can go back 30s and 40s. Those old timey, where everybody used to gather around the radio console and listen to Little Orphan Annie and all the other ones. Shadow Knows.
Exactly. It's like we all get those references, and what better way to bring that back? Since everything that is old is new again, what better thing to bring back than old time, radio shows where you tell a good story and it's a well-written, good story that is well acted as well.
Well, if you want more, is the way I started talking to Robert Lamb. He's the writer and producer. I shot him a text after one of the episodes of End of All Hope. And it's the apocalyptic one. And I just texted him like, dude, this is so well written. I love the way you write, dialogue and conversation between your characters. And I have never wanted to punch a fictional character in my life except for Ambridge. And I told him, he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Ambridge is such a jerk. I'm like, I physically want to punch the guy. I'm like, not the actor. I'm like the character.
Yes.
And we've had this cool little conversation going on for like 2 months. And now I'm part of the cast.
Now look at you. A speaking role.
There's a group of people that we all talk about the different shows, and everybody agrees, dude, who else cried at the end of All Hope? Like the season finale, who else cried? And I'm like, I did. I kind of cried a little bit. I got misty. It might have been my allergies, but I cried. Just such good writing. So I'll let you guys know when the episode drops, the one that I'm on. But until that point in time, binge listen to it. Check it out.
Catch up. Yes. Catch up to everything.
So, do you want to hear a fish story, or do you want to do news, or what do you want to do?
Let's do fish story because there is a new nonprofit for the month of June, and I would like to talk about that. But let's get started with your fish story. Tell me, Mr. Fish.
So, you are very well aware I have 4 children,
Yes.
and 2 of which are starting to become no longer children. I have my 2 oldest girls who are now of dating age. The youngest girl will never be of dating age. I won't allow it. So, but the 2 oldest ones, they're of dating age now, and they're starting to inquire about, how their mom and I met. By their mom, I mean my current wife. I've only had one wife that she knows about, and I have this one. She's like, well, how did you and mom meet? And I told them how we met. They're like, well, what was your first date like? And I'm like, oh, well, why do you want to know about that? And they're like, well, we're, dating now, and they want comparative stories, and they're kind of curious on how, their mom and I met and dated and whatnot. I'm like, great story. So once upon a time ago, I took my now wife out on a date, and we were going to go to Hard Rock Cafe up in Niagara Falls. We're going to go up to dinner and then walk around the falls. There's some nightclubs up there. There's some cool haunted houses. We're going to have some fun and just walk around and, just have some laughs. That was my plan. I'm like, dinner and just walk around and just enjoy the life there in Niagara Falls.
We all know what happens when fish makes plans.
Yeah, I had cool plans, and then they fell apart because on the drive there, I happened to mention about there's this ranch I know of that allows you to take horseback rides. And my now wife just, oh, really? Horseback rides? Could we? And she was so excited. And I am like, yeah. Could we go now? I'm like, yes, because I want to make her happy. I was trying to impress her. And so I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm like, we'll trash the plans. I'm like, no big deal. We'll go horseback riding. I'm a city boy. I am not a cowboy. I have never in my life until that point in time been on a horse.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. So, oh, boy was one of the things I actually yelled at one point, kind of. So we get there, and my now wife is a country girl. She grew up in the country. I don't know if it was her first rodeo, but she acted like it, and I was pretty impressed. So we get there, pay the money. There's a group of people. They walk us over to where the horses are. They match us up with a horse. I get my horse, this cute brown and white patchy horse. Is it a Palomino? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I am completely not an expert on that.
Nice looking horse. They assured me it was a tame horse. I'm like, good. They gave my wife a horse. We have pictures. I'll post pictures on Twitter later. Not important. So they're going over the whole rules of everything and safety and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, I'm talking to my horse, trying to make sure, we're simpatico. And my wife is standing next to me. She was my girlfriend. We were only dating, this is our first date. We've only known each other 2 weeks to this point. We met at a nightclub. We were dancing. Funnier story. I'll tell that story some other day. And while they're blah, 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 when you go on an airplane and they do the whole little safety thing, and here's your belts, and here's how this goes. We're not paying attention. I'm like, you get on the horse, you yell, giddy up, we go. I've seen cowboy movies. I know how it works. Okay. So I'm watching this woman across from us. She's on the other side of the woman giving the story about the safety stuff. And she's stroking the flank of the horse. And she's talking to the horse, and she's stroking the flank of the horse. And I couldn't help but notice how much the horse was enjoying the stroking on their flank. And by there, I mean his. And I know it was a his because he was very
happy and very
holy
content.
cow, I've never felt that inadequate. I'm like looking at him, I'm like, damn. And I'm like, he's really enjoying that. And I couldn't help but elbow my now wife. Hey, look at the horse on the other side. And we look, and she's like, oh my God. I'm like, exactly. So we start laughing, and the woman this girl is with finally nudges her, and you can see her, stop doing that. Stop that. And they both look under the horse, and they're like, oh my God.
Oh, undercarriage.
So, yeah. So they stopped petting the horse. So long story short, though, we did go on a ride. They assured us, the horses would go, slowly along this nice trail. It would be a nice hour-long ride. And in the middle of the trail is this large field. And they said, if you want to gallop, go ahead. The horses like to run. I didn't get to say giddy up. I didn't get to say a chance to say giddy. I didn't get a chance to say anything besides some prayers and a lot of screaming, because my horse saw the edge of that field and knew it was playtime. And that damn thing took the frick off. I never had a chance. I didn't have control. I was just on for the ride. That thing took off and I just screamed bloody murder. My wife will back me up because
I'm sure she was like, am I dating a woman? Because she screamed like Ned Flanders.
And that's basically how it was, because I'm just like, I was not in control. I was just holding around the neck of the horse and I'm like, stop, where's the brakes? I don't know how to stop this. I'm like, my only riding experience up to that point was the quarter machine my mom
I was
used to put
going
in
to say those.
when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
And,
Oh God. Yeah.
We
We're
got
all
back to
pros.
we got back to the corral and I got off the horse, and I walked funny for like the next 2 days. The next morning I woke up and my wife had a great time.
Mhm.
She called me the next morning, just, we had such a good time. That was so great. And I'm like, yeah, that was perfect. Great. I'm
And
gonna
she
pop more
still
Tylenol.
managed to choose you, huh?
Yeah, I came
Look
down the
at you.
stairs and I almost fell down the staircase. My dad's just like, hey, rough night last night. I'm like, not
Shut
that
up,
way. It
Dad.
wasn't, Dad. Not that way. And I'm like, I got ridden pretty hard. And he's like, my boy. And I'm like, no, Dad.
No,
Not
Dad.
that way. He's like, what'd you do last night? I'm like, I took her horseback riding. And he's like, is that what the kids call it these days? I'm like, no, Dad. No.
I see where you've gotten it from.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. And yeah, and I'm like, dude, took her horseback riding and my horse had a mind of its own. And I'm like, I don't think I could sit down. I'm just going to stand here and have my coffee and eat breakfast. And that's all I did. That was kind of it.
Well, still yeah, well, but it's one of those things that, your wife will remember forever. And because we're going to be running out of time, I'm sure we will. We always feel that we are 5 hours worth of programming packed into one. Before Yes, I think so. The nonprofit organization of the month is going to be West New York Heroes. The mission of West New York Heroes is to provide veterans, members of the armed services, and the widows and children of deceased veterans with access to essential services, financial assistance, and resources that support their lives and sustain their dignity. Their grant programs are for West New York veteran residents. West New York, or WNY, is defined as anyone legally residing in any of the 12 surrounding counties of the Western New York area. There are many veterans and families that are referred to the organization by Department of Veteran Affairs, Vet Center, Veterans Court, VFW, Veterans Homeless Centers, and Veterans Service Officers in all counties. They strive and take great pride in making sure that our heroes are taken care of. All checks are written to the landlord, utility companies, mortgage companies, and they do not exceed the value of each program. And the grants are renewable once every 3 years. These programs are not an entitlement program, and they have to be residents of West New York for a minimum of 1 year in order to participate in their program. Financial assistance goes to help veterans and families with rent, mortgage, utilities, food, holiday meals, etc. And they don't provide grants for anything that's not necessary. So it's not like they're going to pay your cell phone bill or your internet or, late parking tickets. It's basically to provide anything that will help them keep a roof over their head, keep them safe, keep them healthy. They have an annual Adopt a Hero family program during the holidays. And at the start of each school year, they have an Operation Backpack program going on, which I know some people that do Operation Backpacks for for different organizations here in the Tampa Bay area. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's basically just buy a backpack for a child, fill it up with school supplies, and give it to a needy family. And in this case, it would be the family of it would be a veteran family. So please go visit their websites, www.wnyheroes.org, www.wnyheroes.org. That is our nonprofit of the month. I love any nonprofit organization that helps veterans. So this one is definitely one to donate to. So please visit their website and give as little or as much as you can.
I can
Now,
vouch for the person that runs it.
Yes.
She
very important.
Is former Air Force. We went to high school together. We might be bringing her on the show in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure if I want to do this because she might know more dirt on me than I'm willing to let loose. But the amount of different programs that they run for our veterans in Western New York, freaking off the wall. They do some great things. So if you got a chance, go check them out. If you feel the need, feel the ability to donate, please do it and tell them Room 13 sent you over.
Yes, absolutely. And now for our dad joke segment, which is sponsored by our friends at APR Coffee, AmericanPrideRoasters.com, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Father's Day is coming up June 20th. So we partnered up, as one does, with APR Coffee to bring you the Room 13 Dad Joke Blend. Fish, have you tried the coffee?
Yes, I have. Oh my gosh.
Isn't it amazing? It is absolutely amazing. It is. All of their coffees are great. And I'm not just saying that because this is our coffee, the coffee for our show, but it is pretty damn good cup of coffee.
It is
pretty
a great
damn pot of coffee.
Of coffee to have first thing in the morning. If you're waking up to coffee, oh, it's so good.
Yes.
It's delicious.
Yes. It is a blend of Rwandan and Ethiopian beans that our friends at APR have created exclusively for our show. Because this is a limited run edition, it is only going to last through June 20th, which is Father's Day. So instead of giving dad boring ties, or, maybe you could give him a really cool set of tools, but, deep down inside, he's not going to start playing with his tools, ding, ding, until he has a nice cup of coffee. So why not make it a cup of Room 13's Dad Joke Coffee Blend? So go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com, AmericanPrideRoasters.com, get yourself some. And the more you buy, the more you'll save, because our friends will give you a little bit of a discount, a little bit of a thank you for shopping with us. The more you buy, the more you'll save. AmericanPrideRoasters.com, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Dad jokes. We're going to start here with our good friend Lep, who's going to be filling in for Mike Phillip later today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here is his dad joke.
Good morning, Room 13. It's your favorite little leprechaun. I have a dad joke for you fine folks this morning. What concert cost just 45 cents? Well, 50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
Hey-o.
It's terrible. Hope y'all have a great show today. Hey, just a heads up, I'll be guest hosting American Uck Radio here just in a couple of hours, right here on Mojo 50. Peace out, y'all. Until the next time.
I love the little tune he plays in the background.
I like the ukulele. I always like a ukulele.
Yes, very upbeat. Here is one from executive producer extraordinaire, Chris Branham.
What did the fisherman say to the magician? Pick a cod, any cod. That's right. Another fish joke. You are welcome.
Pick a cod, any cod. All right. Here is one from our friend Knights who say nee.
This is the Knights who say nee, and I have a knock-knock joke. Fish, I'll need your help.
Oh, dear.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Control freak. Okay,
Control freak.
Now you say control freak who?
Control freak who?
That's the joke.
Oh, damn. I do like that, though.
Now you say control freak who.
Oh.
And of course, because the battle rages on, it's the kid joke off. Wait, what? It is Ronan and Talon, again, son of executive producer extraordinaire Chris Branham, and son of one Dylan Lyles, the
AI.
point half of the bromance, the fish. We have to ship you two. You have to come up with your relationship name.
Oh dear.
Yep, we're gonna do that. Anyway, here is Ronan. So his joke is,
why does Snoop Dogg always carry an umbrella? For drizzle.
for drizzle. Ah,
Okay.
it's always going to make me laugh. It's always going to make me laugh.
Hi, my name is Talon, Junior Executive for Defenders Life. Oh my god, guys, did you hear about the kidnapping at school? It's fine, he woke up.
Oh crap.
Come on, they're both winners. I can't choose. I can't choose between the two of you. It's like choosing between your two favorite kids.
Mine knows which one it is.
They know who they're okay. We're almost running out of time, Fish. We're gonna have to do stories, or I'm trying to think. Do we want to do the stories?
Well, I do have how much time have we got?
We probably
Do the
have less than 30 minutes.
Less than 3 minutes. Are you familiar with the Nemo theory?
The Nemo theory.
I want to see this blow your mind. Are you familiar with the movie Finding Nemo?
Yes.
You're not familiar with the theory of Nemo?
No.
So let's review. The movie Finding Nemo
Mm-hmm.
is about Marlin
Mm-hmm.
trying to find his son Nemo,
Mm-hmm.
who was kidnapped by a scuba diver off the reef.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells the tale of Marlin's journey across the ocean to go save his son.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I get to blow your mind.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Nemo doesn't exist. This whole movie is just in Marlin's imagination. His son really died in the beginning of the movie, and this is his grief. And he's imagining the whole thing, which is why Dory is his perfect friend. She has a short-term memory loss and keeps forgetting that Nemo doesn't exist. And we base this whole thing off one little piece of information. What does Nemo mean in Latin?
I don't know. I didn't take Latin in school.
Nobody. Nemo means nobody, which is so his name means nobody, which means Marlin is looking for no one. I can see the smoke.
Finding no one. No, it's
Finding
like
no one.
I'm trying to think, because if that were the case, then why would they make a second movie? Or was it just that they took advantage of the fact that the movie was so popular that
They took advantage of the fact that Dory was so popular.
This is true. I mean, this is the part where I say that we have so much content that there was another two jokes actually that we're not going to be able to cover. We're not going to be able to do our news either. So, hey, this is our back from vacation show.
We can't even talk about that company that sponsors us with the weird name.
Yes. I have heard of that theory before, and it almost makes sense if it weren't for all of the other fish that are involved in it. But that's just taking the conversation to a whole new level. Thank you so much, everybody, for tagging along with us this Saturday morning. We hope that you have a lovely weekend. Say goodnight, Fish.
New Hampshire. I'll say New Hampshire.
New Hampshire?
New Hampshire. Hey, Rocky.
What?
How many months have 28 days?
All of them.
Ah, crap. Damn, I was looking forward to that one. I've been saving that one for 2 months.
All of them. Kind of like which countries have a July 4th?
Well, they all do.
Precisely.
Only one celebrates the Independence Day, but
Well, depending on the country, they all, different countries may have Independence Day. It's just not celebrated on July 4th. Ours
Did
is
you-
July 4th.
so did you like my little Nemo piece of information?
Yeah, I mean, I had heard that that theory before, and I think I may have heard it like maybe it used to be like maybe last year or something like that. But then I started thinking, I said, but how can that be? Because if Nemo is with all of the other fish when they're at the dentist's office, then how do you explain that?
I didn't find that part on TikTok. I only found that part on TikTok.
Okay.
I found this on my TikTok adventures.
Of course you did. Of course you did. I mean, and that's not to say that Pixar, despite the fact that it still is a Disney company, and Disney, well, it's a conversation for another day about the kind of programming that Disney has for their kids today. But Pixar does have a habit of making films that make you think, especially make the grown-ups think. For the kids, it's an adventure. For the kids, it's still a cartoon. But for us grown-ups, they're kind of, not that they can change your life, but they really do make you think a lot. We all grew up, I mean, not me particularly, but for example, like my nephew grew up with the Toy Story movies. So for my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, when Toy Story 3 rolled around, then it came to an end. It was like their son was already in their late teens, and it's like, let's go see Toy Story because this is like the end of a saga for us that, it's like you grew up watching this. So we kind of want to see it as a way to kind of like say goodbye to your childhood.
Well, it's like all the people that read Harry Potter growing up. By the
Mhm.
time the last book came out, by the time the last movie came out, most of those kids were adults.
Yeah.
And still all into it and dressing up and,
So yeah, so it's like for some of these people, it's like, it is a rite of passage, much like you becoming an empty nester. It's like your child is all grown up, and Toy Story, in a way, yeah, it's about the toys and it's about the funny zany adventures that they go on, but it's also about watching Andy grow up. And at least for me, from the aesthetic aspect, is like you compare the first Toy Story to like Toy Story 4, and you see how much the technology had changed, where it was kind of like bulky and clunky, the first Toy Story, and then as the technology improved and they started doing more of that computer rendering, and everything just became so much with better styling, when it comes to the animation. Much better styling.
Did you see did you ever hear the Tom Hanks story with Toy Story?
No. I mean, it depends.
Tom Hanks is in an elevator in a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and a mother and a young child get on board the elevator with him.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother exclaims and points at Tom Hanks and looks at her child and says, "Honey, look, it's Woody." And the kid looks at Tom Hanks and she's like, no, that's just a scary guy. No. And Tom Hanks is like, "Fine, I know what I got to do. There's a snake in my boot." And the kid freaking lost his mind once he heard Tom Hanks's voice do the line, and just like, "It's Woody, it's Woody, it's Woody, it's Woody." But that's,
Yeah. It's, in a way, it's like you're shattering your child's dream.
Yeah,
But
once you see the voice behind the character, it's like, oh, Kevin. If you've seen the guy that actually does Elmo's voice, Kevin Clash.
Is he still doing Elmo's voice after the whole thing of kids complaining that, or not kids complaining, but kids accusing him of,
Okay, bad example. Um, Kermit before Jim Henson died.
Yes.
Ker-
After,
uh,
you mean?
Okay, after too. Yeah, it'd be creepy if it was the other way around. Oh
Yeah.
well. Yeah, any of the Muppets with Jim Henson. If you've seen Jim Henson working the Muppet,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, well, you can't really, and it's kind of hard to unsee it then at that point. It's really weird.
Well, it's like I try to explain it to my husband, but my husband doesn't understand because he didn't grow up watching the Disney animated series of the 90s. But what is going to happen, like my childhood is going to officially come to an end the day that Jim Cummings dies.
Who's Jim Cummings?
He is the guy that currently voices Tigger, Winnie the Pooh. He voices Pete the Cat in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He voiced Darkwing Duck. Did he do Monterey Jack from the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers? I'm trying to think who else. He had like other of those cartoons from the 90s that were Disney cartoons.
Do you want
He
another?
did so many voices, and and he continues to do some of them, at least for some of the more current shows. But it's like my childhood is going to die the moment that man dies.
Do you know who else did voices that'll probably blow your mind?
Mm.
His big break was Gizmo from Gremlins. He also voiced, do you remember Muppet Babies, the cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Scooter? And do you remember Bobby's World? Because it's the same voice with all three
Yes,
characters.
I remember Bobby's World.
Okay. Do you remember who the actor is that voices all three of those voices?
No. I'm sure the name will pop. That I'll probably recognize the name when you tell me.
Oh,
but I
you'll
don't remember
recognize it.
who does the voice.
Howie Mandel.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't know that. Because I remember
didn't-
Howie Mandel. I remember Howie Mandel back when Howie had hair. Would be on was it the opening credits or the ending credits of Bobby's World?
I don't remember because I think
That was a show. That was a show that my kid brothers used to watch.
Yeah,
when we were
I think I was too
growing up.
old. I think I was too old to watch it. I mean, I'm aware of it. I like Howie Mandel. I think Howie Mandel's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he was the voice of Gizmo from Gremlins. I guess that was his big break.
Yeah.
And then he did Scooter from Muppet Babies. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, if you notice, he's like, it's the same damn voice with all three characters. He's like, I didn't change a damn thing. And I'm like,
he just read the lines.
I'm like, son of a bitch. He's like, yeah, I did the same voice. He's like, and I made money. He's like, oh, crap. Yeah, when Jim Henson died, that was my childhood right there. I'm like, oh.
That was and that's what I say about Jim Cummings, because it's like I'm going through like the list here, and like it's all Disney stuff, but it's almost like, so the couple that used to do Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse voice.
Oh, they're
in the
gone.
last
Yeah.
they both died recently, and it's like, and I just thought that it was almost magical and serendipitous, the fact that it was a husband and wife team voicing Mickey and Minnie Mouse, and you can tell the difference now in who the person who's voicing the characters now, as opposed to was it Tress MacNeille and Tony Anselmo. I
You
think
pay
we're the
attention
two.
far much more than I do to the credits.
My daughter still watches Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, so I can tell the difference between the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse episodes with the voices that I was hearing growing up and the new voice actors doing it now. To me, it's a huge difference. I pick it up really, really quickly. Like I can tell.
Speaking of paying
difference.
attention to detail,
Mm.
I meant to bring this up on the show, and I regret not doing it, but it's too funny not to bring it up. You remember how Wifey is back in college, right?
Yes, I remember you saying that she went back to school. Mhm, mhm.
So I helped her with her homework this week because she would be texting me different questions. And yeah, that's gotten weird.
Is she having you
And,
do all her work?
Yeah, I do it for favors. So special treatment, if you will. And
That's
She
the
lets
only
me-
form of payment you should be accepting anyway.
She lets me hold her hand and, whatever.
Mhm.
So, but then again, I'm not even home right now. So one of her professors made a comment that made my head spin around.
Oh no.
She is taking mythology. Because I thought it would be easy. We both thought, I'm like, it's stories. I'm like, all you gotta do is remember stories. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So one of the assignments is to watch a certain set of movies. Do you remember Clash of the Titans?
Mm-hmm.
1981.
The original
Yes.
one with Harry Hamlin. Mhm,
Yes. So that's one of the movies. I grew up with that one. I remember
Yes.
watching it as a
mhm.
child.
We grew up with that one.
She has no idea what this was because
Oh my God.
there's an age gap between us. She's like, what is this crap? And I'm just like, oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's so hokey, but it's so cool.
It is terrible, but
But there's a 2010 version of Clash of the Titans.
I believe, is it Sam Worthington who's in that? Liam Neeson is in that one.
Liam Nielsen's in it. Yes, Neeson. Sorry, you're right.
Who else is in it? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. I don't pay attention that much.
I remember. I just know. I think I saw it once, and I don't think it was that great. But
It was good. Well, I watched it with youngest daughter because youngest daughter had to do mythology,
mhm.
and she got in this big kick on mythology. So I'm like, oh, we'll watch Clash of the Titans. We watched Hercules. We watched
Make it
Troy.
a family thing.
It wasn't family. It was just me and her. It was just like one of these daddy-daughter date things. It was kind of cool.
Okay.
So point of the story is, so now we remember there's two movies, Clash of the Titans, 81 and
Mhm.
2010.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the assignment. I'm like, honey, he doesn't differentiate on the syllabus which one you're supposed to watch. I'm like, please email him so we don't waste our time. One
Yeah.
movie is 2 hours long. The other one is 3 movies long. So it's 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so ask which one we should watch.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. So they were on a Zoom chat, the whole class and her and the professor. And
Mhm.
hey, are there any questions? And my wife's like, ding, ding. Yes. Mrs. Miller, what's your question? Which movie do you want us to watch? And the professor's like, you need to watch the 1981 version because the 2010 one isn't accurate. My head blew up and I'm like, does the professor not realize none of this shit happened? It's just a story. It's not accurate.
How is it inaccurate? Is it inaccurate because it's conflating details, like Hollywoodizing details from the story that everybody knows happened this way, despite the fact that yes, they're tales, they're almost like cautionary tales.
It's mythology. It's whatever you want to call it.
It's mythology, yes. But at the same time, it's like, well, the story goes A, B, C, D, but in the 2010 version, it's A, B, X, Y, Z.
Yeah. I'm
You
hoping
know.
that's what he's going with. He's like, here's the original tale. It doesn't follow the original tale. Watch 1981. My mind jumped to, it's not accurate. This is how it really happened. And that's what was in my head. I'm like, oh my God, my head hurts. my head hurts."
He probably phrased it in a way that it almost was like, wait, what? It's like, none of this stuff is real. Excuse me.
Yeah, when he said it, I'm just like, oh, this hurts. This hurts. This hurts.
It's like,
holy shit.
this isn't real, but it's like, maybe if you explained it this way, that, as you would think, whenever they remake these movies, they're remaking them so that it has more star power and you spend more money paying Hollywood actors. Like I'm looking at the cast of the 2010 Clash of the Titans, and these are all names that are recognizable to me now that, back in 2010, I'm like, who the F is this?
Yeah.
But you make it with more explosions. It's like the Jerry Bruckheimer version of Clash of the Titans, where everything's exploding and people are using, machine guns to shoot at each other, on Pegasi. I don't know what the plural of Pegasus are.
Pegzison.
Pegasus, whatever, flying horses. So, it's like, maybe if you would have said, there's a reason why I want you to watch this one. He didn't have to be snarky about it, but I'm sure that there was a better way to explain it.
I mean, I've already gone back on YouTube and I'm like, well, how hokey could it be? And then I started watching. I'm like,
Hokey.
man, this was hokey. Holy
It was
crap.
hokey. It was hokey, but it was our childhood. And we
It was
have to appreciate it for what it is.
It was a lot of claymation and everything else. And I'm like, I
Oh,
love this movie.
yes.
It was a
Oh,
good movie
yes.
back then.
Oh, yes.
But do you remember who's in the 1981 version? He's one of my favorites.
Haven't seen it in so long. Is it even available to watch in like any of the
Yes. You can
any
watch
of
it
the
on
major?
You can watch it on Amazon.
Is it on Prime?
Yes.
Na, 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 na. Let's see who's in the cast. Laurence Olivier.
Not my favorite.
Oh. Well, Harry Hamlin, Judy Bowker. I don't know who that is. Laurence Olivier, Maggie Smith,
Nope,
Ursula Andress,
Nope.
Burgess Meredith, Claire Bloom.
Twilight Zone. Think Twilight Zone. Did you say Burgess Meredith?
Yeah.
Yeah, Burgess Meredith. I love Burgess Meredith.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's
I want to
such-
say that my most favorite Twilight Zone episodes were the ones with Burgess Meredith.
There is one that my wife and I can sit down and we watch every single freaking time
Ooh, which one?
with Burgess Meredith.
Okay, which one?
There's never enough time.
Oh my gosh.
I love that one.
I love that one, and I love The Obsolete Man.
Which one's that one?
The Obsolete Man, the man who's a librarian. And they're making
Ooh.
him obsolete. The one that you have to they bring people out into like a tribunal for them to justify their existence, and they're trying to make him obsolete because people aren't reading books anymore because it is prohibited to read books. So
Ooh.
he outsmarts the guy who's going to sentence him to death. I mean, unfortunately, they both die at the end. Spoiler alert, but it is one of those classic Burgess Meredith episodes. I have to tell you, The Twilight Zone, I know that for some people it may seem corny, or some of them are corny, but I still find it to be just as entertaining now as it was back in the day.
There's one, and it's not even our day. It's well before our day. What's the one, the diner, where the bus breaks down and there's a Martian among them?
The Martian, yes. There are
That
so
one is
many.
tremendous.
That one is great.
This
Oh
is why
my
we get along so
gosh.
well.
I forgot the name of the episode, but it's the one where they think that they're going to go on a nuclear war, and like everybody's having like a picnic or like a get together in someone's house, and then they make the announcement, and then the family that's like the equivalent of a prepper family nowadays, they go like into the basement, and of course the people are trying to rebel
Oh,
against
yeah.
this one family. And it's like, I think that the episode is like, look at what we've become. You know, I'm like, we all, you don't have to be a super prepper, but you can't, it's like, this is how we turn. This is what we turn into whenever we have, whenever we become this selfish, where it's survival thing, when it's survival on the line.
That's why you should
You know,
go
that
to
we just
mypatriotsupply.com.
Yes,
Mypatriotsupply.com.
Yes, which reminds me, I was telling someone at work at job number 1 that they released a 1 week supply, a 1 week food supply in like a canister, like a metal canister that's
Ooh.
water resistant, for like less than $70, and it's 1 week supply. And I'm like, that's actually great to keep in the trunk of your car. Even
Mhm.
if nothing ever happens, because it's My Patriot Supply and the food lasts for 20 years, but you can keep everything in there and just add it as part of your bug out bag. And
Yeah.
I'm like, for that price, I should probably buy 2, like keep one in my husband's car and keep one in my car.
Did you ever watch the Twilight Zone where he's the last man on Earth, but he's really in a simulator?
Yes, just like I've seen the one where it's like the last man and the last woman on Earth with Charles Bronson and Elizabeth Montgomery. Have you
Yes.
seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
very
bought-
young Elizabeth Montgomery too.
I bought Wifey the complete DVD box set for Christmas a couple years ago.
Does it include that one season? Does it include that one season that the episodes were 1 hour long? Because at one point, Netflix wasn't carrying that season.
I bought it for her 10 years ago, so I'm
Okay.
sure she watches it all the time. It's
I
like her
wanted to
go-to
say,
thing.
yes, I wanted to say that it was, I think it may have been season 5. And I think it was because the show changed networks.
It
And
did
I
a couple times, yeah.
think
It's
that the network, when it transitioned, they wanted to do 1 hour episodes and it didn't really work. People liked the 30-minute format. So they went back to the 30-minute format. So that
The
one, 5
history of this-
characters in search of an exit, is another great favorite of mine. You know which one that is, right?
Yep. The 2 with William Shatner are really good.
Yes.
There's Gremlins on the
But-
plane, and then there's the
Yes,
one with the diner.
The diner with the little devil head
Yes.
fortune.
Can I leave?
Telling
Maybe.
I told my husband once that I would love to have that, not the colorized version, because who sells it? It's not Bradford Exchange. I think it's a company called Entertainment Earth, where my husband gets most of his Batman trinkets. And I think that they sell it where it actually will dispense fortunes for you, and you can bobble the head of the little devil head. I am almost certain that it's Entertainment Earth that carries it. I'm actually gonna go. You're looking it up, aren't you?
No, I'm answering wife.
Oh, okay. Is she asking you to cheat on her tests again?
No. There's only certain amounts of her homework she wants me to do. U.S. history is one, mythology is the other one. I don't have to do art history because I'd flunk that.
To Serve Man. That's another classic Twilight Zone episode.
I always remember it because they're always on at New Year's, they're on at Christmas, and they do the whole little
Yes.
marathons.
They do the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day marathon on Sci-Fi.
And it's like her go-to. She gets all excited right around that time of year because they're all on. I'm like, I bought you the DVD box set. You own all of them. She's like, it's not the same. And I'm like, oh, for dear crap. Yeah,
It's
the
not the same.
the history of the Twilight Zone is really weird. It didn't have a tremendous reception when it first started, and then it switched networks a couple times, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and now it's one of those classic TV shows that you just, and it was only on for like 3 or 4 seasons. It wasn't on for very long.
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, the
Huh?
original Twilight Zone.
The original Twilight Zone, I think it may have been for like 5 or 6 seasons. I don't think it was beyond
Let us
that.
check.
To the Google, I'm actually looking for it.
I didn't know there was a Twilight Zone.
5 seasons.
Okay, 5 seasons. I didn't know there was a Twilight Zone movie, which I still haven't watched. It's not that good.
Stick to what you know. You know what I started watching the other day too?
Porn.
There were a couple. No, we're still recording, right? So this is
Yes,
for
I know.
our video audience. If you have Tubi is the one of like the free movie TV show apps.
I thought that's what Romeo said to Juliet.
No,
To
No,
be
that's-
or not to be.
that's Hamlet, and no.
Damn. I knew it
Um,
was Shakespeare.
No, I started watching a couple of movies, movie adaptations of Stephen King books, like old Stephen King. We all know that
Oh,
Stephen King's a
man, they've-
douche canoe.
Yeah, I know. He's a jackass.
But,
He blocked me on
yes.
Twitter.
Really? What
Yes.
the hell did you tell? How do you get yourself blocked?
I'm blocked by a bunch of different people that are all like blue check marks. Jesse Smollett is one of them. Yeah, Stephen King blocked me. I'm very
know how-
proud of that. I was
We all
so
know how
proud.
relevant Jesse Smollett is.
Stephen King
Um,
blocked me about a year ago because we got into a gun debate and all of a sudden I got blocked.
You got into well, that's the highlight of your life, really.
I was so proud of myself. I
You
took a
should put that on your
screenshot.
bio.
I showed my
Blocked by
wife.
Stephen King.
I took a screenshot. I'm like, look. She's like, what? I'm like, I got blocked. She's like, Stephen King blocked you? She's like, what did you do to him? And I'm like,
He deserved it.
I'm like, he had it coming.
I'm, despite the fact that he's a huge liberal douche canoe,
Crackhead.
I like his older books. But I watched Needful Things the other day because it was on Tubi. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And then how they usually, Tubi, like most of these other entertainment apps, once you finish watching one thing, they tell you, since you liked this, maybe you should watch this other thing. I watched Needful Things. What was the other one I watched? I watched Dreamcatcher, which
Ooh,
that was a
that's messed
great
up.
book. That was a great book. I know.
The
I know.
movie's messed up. The book is tremendous.
The book was really, really good. But then that's like everything. That's the same thing that I say about Michael Crichton books.
Ooh, love
God
his book.
God rest his soul. We lost him. He still had so much talent left to share with the world. But his books are amazing. And I don't want to say that every movie made from his books suck, but they pale in comparison to how great they are.
I like some of his Stephen King's newer stuff. I like reading them. I don't like them personally, but I like his stuff. Duma Key is tremendous.
I haven't read Duma Key, but I've heard really good things about it.
It's a freaking tome. If you drop
most of them are.
No, this is
The Stand is a tome.
The Stand is a tome. Cell is a tome, and Cell is very good. What's the other good one I just read? I read a lot.
Well, you have more time to read than I do, but that's one of the things that I miss having is time to read. And I think I'm just going to go ahead, suck it up, and get Audible.
Yeah. Oh. So he does a sci-fi history of the Kennedy assassination. Is it 11/23?
Oh, 11/23/66?
Yes.
66 or 65, I want to say.
60.
Didn't they make like a movie or Netflix series or something like that?
Yeah, and they screwed it up. Thank you.
Of course. As they do when they touch these things.
The book is freaking tremendous. It is a flippin' great read. So good that even my wife read it.
So to finish my point of what I was saying.
63.
It was 63. Okay. Creepshow 2 is on Tubi.
I saw
and
it.
I was like, OMG. I remember how the story about the thing in the lake creeped me the F out as a kid. And I was watching it and I'm like, it's not as creepy because of course, now it's like you're a grown up. But the hokiness of Creepshow, it is a freaking amazing. The wooden Indian chief, and I don't know which one was worse. The fake, the horrible wig job they did on the kid playing the criminal that was going to go to Hollywood, whatever his name was. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible.
There's the thing in the lake. There's the Indian chief cigar statue thingy. And then there was the one where it was Creepshow, where the old man switches body parts with the young man, like piece by piece.
Yes. I want to say, was that from the first one? I think it may have been from the first Creepshow because I know there were two. Because the one that's on Tubi is Creepshow 2.
Because the other one I'd love to see, and I used to watch it religiously, is Tales from the Crypt.
That was HBO though, right? That was an HBO series. HBO or Showtime? I think it was one of the premium channels, and I want to say it was HBO. We didn't have HBO growing up.
I'm not saying we had a cheater box, but we may have had a cheater box.
You're not saying, but you're not saying. You're not saying.
There was a time where we actually paid for it.
Yeah, no, my parents were like, that's not one, again, my parents were trying to shield us from watching contents that we shouldn't be watching. And most of those shows had some sort of sexual undertones, sexual innuendos that they felt was inappropriate for us youngins. And, you know,
You know what you should watch?
porn.
Trans-
No, sorry. You did it to me. So now I'm doing it right back to you.
Transylvania 65000.
Is that a Rob Zombie thing?
No, it's a comedy. It's got who's the guy that played Kramer on
Michael
Seinfeld?
Richards?
Michael Richards is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, it's got like a who's who of people in it. The bad actor from Jurassic Park. He played the scientist that believed in chaos theory, and he talked like
Jeff
William Shatner.
Goldblum?
He's in it. Oh shoot, it's not Gilda Radner. The woman who plays the ghost of Christmas Present from Scrooged. Remember that movie, Scrooged?
Carol Kane, Gina Davis.
Yes. No, Carol Kane.
It was
Yeah,
Carol Kane. Yeah.
yeah.
Carol Kane's fantastic.
She's in it. She's a tremendous actress. I always love her and stuff. But Transylvania 65000 is a comedy spoof.
By Rudy DeLuca.
How did you not watch it? It's like an 80s classic. 89?
85.
85. Damn. It's so good. Oh, it was good back in the day.
Oh, it's got Jeffrey Jones. You know who Jeffrey Jones is, right?
Oh, Jeff Jones, of course. No, who's
The
Jeff
redhead,
Jones?
the redhead guy who's really creepy, who was arrested for child pornography. That guy.
Oh, Principal whatchamacallit from Ferris
Yes,
Bueller's Day Off. You could
that's
just said
right.
that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well.
Which
Yeah.
I
He
watched
was
that
in
movie.
Beetlejuice, and he was in a whole bunch of things too.
Oh yeah, his IMDb page is huge. It's killing you, isn't it?
I'm not gonna do it. But if you put it.
At this juncture.
Wouldn't be Pruitt. Yeah. He pled no contest to a charge of soliciting a minor to pose for nude photographs and was subsequently arrested for failing to update his sex offender status. So, yeah.
Go figure. A Hollywood star has a problem with
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's one of those it's one of those things where in Hollywood these things have a short shelf life because isn't Kevin Spacey trying to make a comeback
Yes. There's a couple people
So-
trying to make a comeback after their
after it's a scandalous
their fall from grace.
you can say that,
This is why I like Pure Flix.
This is why I like Hallmark Channel. The only problem now is that Hallmark, oh my God, Hallmark and their commercials.
Are they already doing Christmas?
No. Christmas stuff doesn't bother me. It's the social justice warrior bent to each and every commercial that they have, to the point that
Oh.
it's now like, can I just skip through the commercials?
This
Like
is why I don't watch regular TV.
just put your movies on Amazon so I don't have to watch the commercials.
I may or may not have a secret code to a certain computer site, and I watch my stuff without commercials, and I can just do what I want.
You're a smart man. You're a smart man. And so is the rest of our listening audience, because they're still here watching us blah bitty blah
Well,
for
one or
almost
two of
2
them are still here.
hours. Yeah, well, someone had to have dropped off. I mean, you have stuff to do. It's Saturday. What the hell are you doing listening to us? Go home. Go home.
The show's over.
You're still here. Show's over.
We need
What are you
we
still
need
doing
whatchamacallit.
here?
We need Matthew Broderick. We
Yeah,
need that
Matthew
sounder.
Broderick. Yeah. I think that's easy. I can do that. I can record it from YouTube and use it as a sounder for our
If
board.
we can shave off like 4 seconds or 5 seconds from our music,
Mm-hmm.
and just play that at the end. Go home. The show's over. Just go home.
We can play it over at the end. Yeah, I think that we can do that. All right. All right. Let me goodbye everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye.
Don't get arrested.
Try not to.